we're tracking for you today on Startup Street. Now today, small, micro and nano entrepreneurs are key to the growth of any economy. In India, MSMEs contribute nearly 30% to the GDP and employ more than 11 crore people. On World MSME Day today, we put the spotlight on nano entrepreneurs who have a turnover of less than 1 crore. There is no specific data or policies that cater to this specific MSME group, which makes up almost 80% of micro entrepreneurs in India. So to talk about the impact that they can have and how to solve their credit problem, I'm now joined by Geeta Goyal, who is the Managing Director of the Michael Susan Dell Foundation in India, and Sucharita Mukherjee, the co-founder of Kaleidofin. Geeta, Sucharita, thank you very much for your time here on CNBC-TV18 and welcome to Startup Street. Geeta, I'll start with you. You know, this lack of data around the segment of entrepreneurs is one of the key challenges that your report also has highlighted, and you've been working with others to collect data around them. So start by giving us a sense of what the key findings have been. What is sort of the profile of these nano entrepreneurs?
Sure. Thanks, Ritu. As you know, the foundation works at maximizing opportunities for children and youth living in urban low-income areas. Given the large tail of MSMEs that you talked about, 65 million, nano entrepreneurs is a key segment of that. We estimate enterprises with turnovers of 10 lakhs to 1 crores being 11 million of the 63 million MSMEs. Now, this is a distinct segment and it's not defined anywhere. Its needs are different and it gets glossed over somewhere in the bigger landscape of MSMEs. To your point, the segment is ubiquitous. It includes the Kirana stores. It's the last mile delivery outlet for large FMCG companies. It's the last mile supply chain for large, production houses, small screws gets manufactured in these. It is also where a large part of our consumption economy sits. So, tailors, street vendors, food stalls, etc. And yet, the only data we really have is the size is about 11 million. They employ anywhere from 1.8 to 2.5 individuals. And in our study with CREA or IFMR that you talked about, the significant finding was that if given credit support, these enterprises actually have the ability to grow and employ more people. There is data to show that enterprises which start with investment capital of more than 2.5 lakhs actually have a 3x higher survival rate than enterprises that start with lower capital. Similarly, enterprises that actually take loans of over 1 lakh or 1.5 lakhs have actually 35% better profitability as compared with enterprises taking smaller loans. So I would say, given they are 11 million, given they employ people, they have the capacity to grow. They are sort of the wheels of the economy, which are important to continue to sustain and grow them and actually collect more.
This lack of data is specifically interesting when we talk about the availability of credit. And Sucharita, let me bring you in, because typically with MSMEs as well, collateral often comes up as a challenge when we speak to lenders. And traditional finance may not always find it profitable to expand or expend their resources for such small ticket loans. There's risk aversion and all of that. What can we do in terms of better underwriting models to solve this problem, predict better outcomes, and what's really needed as a solution to this credit issue?
You're absolutely right, Ritu. Most of these nano enterprises are informal, completely unregistered, so they can't really provide the collateral. Also, they don't have any income documentation that is typically required to access financial services. The other feature that's quite unique is that they have very, very volatile financial lives. So implementing the same Equifax credit score is not really optimal. But thanks to initiatives like the India Stack, which has produced a very, very deep data footprint, as well as the Microfinance Credit Bureau, as well as the account aggregator, we have actually used literally the power of tech, big data, data science to create a supervised AI-based credit scoring model. It's called chi-score. This is a credit underwriting model that actually predicts the probability of default and which actually also understands and distinguishes between different types of customers. And it understands that a week of delayed payments is simply a part of the inherent financial life of this customer. So over the last 5 years, we've actually been able to gather about nearly 20 million nano business data points, which has helped us build this model. And the risk on these loans, and we've underwritten about 2.8 million of them, is now less than 1%.
Yeah. All right. Geeta, let me come back to you because the general belief is, and very briefly, if you could answer, small entrepreneurs come with higher credit risk and lower recovery avenues for lenders. What do the numbers say here?
Yeah, to Sucharita's point, I mean, they have a proof point where, their scored enterprises actually are less than 1%. Several of our other NBFCs, which cater to this segment using, algorithms focused on this segment, would have losses in the range of 2 to 4%. So it is not very different from the rest of the market. These losses are priced into the interest rates. Briefly, Ritu, the point is the segment, if assessed well, doesn't show much higher risk. It does need to unlock more credit to the segment. We do estimate the credit gap to be anywhere from 5 lakh to 10 lakh crore, which is a large number, but it's definitely an addressable market. And the current digitization and formalization trends are helping, grow that market.
Hopefully that bursts some of the myths. But, before we wrap up this conversation, Sucharita, a quick word on whether schemes like the Credit Guarantee Fund have worked and, what have been the learnings from that can be applied to nano entrepreneurs?
So credit guarantee schemes like CGT SME have actually worked really well. They've provided over 56,000 crores of credit. They can have a tremendous implication for nano entrepreneurs. There are some changes that the government has recently proposed to these schemes, including increase of the interest rate cap, which will make many, many more nano entrepreneurs, because of the higher cost of operations, much more eligible. Also, the eligibility process has been streamlined. What I think really needs to happen is that mainstream lenders, such as public sector banks, private sector banks, can team up with credit platforms which cater to nano entrepreneurs, make use of these credit guarantee schemes, and really make nano entrepreneurs a mainstream asset class.
All right, Sucharita and Geeta, thank you very much for your time here on CNBC TV18 and for talking about this category that clearly needs a lot more time and attention. On that note, we're going to move on. On this occasion of World MSME Day, Network 18 has launched a special campaign to celebrate the entrepreneurial journey of MSMEs, from embracing digitization and innovative technologies to defining the roadmap for India at 100. Take a look.
This World MSME Day, celebrate the entrepreneurial journey of MSMEs, from embracing digitization and innovative technologies to defining the roadmap for India at 100. News 18 Network and Misho's one-of-a-kind partnership is uniting entrepreneurs and visionaries to accelerate the India MSME sector through dynamic fireside chats and panel discussions, and applaud exceptional sellers who are shaping a future-ready India. Mission to 100 million, presented by News 18 Network in collaboration with Misho.
It's now time